Wilson Morales from Black Film and TV. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Wilson?
Good. How often are you asked to voice a character where it's a lead role and it's the character looks like you?
You know what I mean? And Skydance in animation and Apple TV Plus and like a show of this caliber where they're trying to do like new stuff in the animation space. I mean, I was just like, absolutely. When do we start? It's a dream.
Just watching, I was like, I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, okay, I'm in it. Why are there only 20 plus minutes per episode? Go an
Right.
hour, but it is what it is. So you take on this character, when they tell you what it is. Had you read the books, for people who've read the books, are they going to see something similar on screen?
For sure. I think the sandbox is the same, like you have all the things that are establishing that make this world so just like visceral and beautiful and colorful and the stakes so high. And then Tony D, who is the writer of the series, is hugely integral into this. And he got to come back and make adjustments. And he spoke about it as just getting to like play with your favorite crayons again, your action figures that you're so beloved to you, getting to like build upon the stories that you had originally intended for them. So hugely collaborative, really fun. And I didn't know the book series. I know Tony D and I knew his work and I loved the Spiderwick Chronicles, but I was new to Wondla and it's been such a fun world to step into.
I always ask people when they take on a role, there's got to be something in that character that they can relate with. And even though the character of Eva is such a long lady, what would you say are any of her traits that relate to you?
100%. I, by nature of being an actor and by nature of just being me, I feel like I'm probably closer to 16 than most 30-year-olds are. And I'm very proud of that. And so it was fun for me to just like unapologetically get to like live in the energy I tend to want to bring to most interactions as a grown woman.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, obviously, there's always you got to assume people are not reading the books or wherever it came
Yeah.
from, and we're getting all as it is. What would you say? How best do you describe Wondla? Is it about a young girl who's looking to find an identity, who she is while wandering through this so-called Earth?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an action adventure series. It's of an epic proportion, and it is in the vein of what inspired it was Alice in Wonderland and Wizard of Oz, of this like young woman stepping into a fantasy world, going on this epic adventure, and navigating a world that's unfamiliar to her. And the beauty of the show is watching her approach this new challenge, this completely, she is not prepared, with enthusiasm and with the way she adapts, the way she like manages to thrive and to still find and foster love in a world that might be intimidating to most other people, is really inspiring. And you see her falter, you see her, you know, maybe overstep, you see her try to navigate it, but it's amazing, incredibly human for an animated series, which I love.
Now, this is not your first rodeo doing voicing a character, but is it different from what you did last time?
Absolutely. She is way closer to me. When I played a troll, it's like a flying little naked troll baby who's like a classical violinist and like a vaguely transatlantic accent. This one is, she feels very close to me. And that was really, really fun to come to play with, and to bring all the very weird, very excitable parts of me to her.
Hey, congrats on this. I really liked it. Obviously, we hope to get more of this because it's an adventure people should worth. It's worth watching, worth seeing, and very enjoyable. Take care.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hey, Terry, how's it going?
I'm good. Hi, Wilson. Nice to see you.
Seems like everything old is new again. Something you did so long ago, they brought you back.
Okay, yeah, they did, I guess. You're right.
What was that feeling like when they gave you the call and it goes, "We're doing a series. We loved your voice the first time. Can you come back again?" Or was it that easy?
It kind of was that easy, but it was really touching actually to me, especially in this business. You don't, I had no, first of all, I didn't know that they were making the project into an animated series. I mean, I hadn't heard that through my Hollywood sources of agents or whatnot. And the first call I got was from Tony, and he said, "Hey, we're doing this. Would you potentially be interested in this? Because I'd really like to push for you to be the mother." And it's just not. I don't know. It's surprising. I didn't have the expectation that just because I had done the books, somebody would think of me. So I was really touched by it. And I love this team of people. I mean, nobody is nicer or more creative or more talented than Tony. And Bob's Gannaway is so supportive and creative. And John Lasseter, of course, I worked with him before in Planes. So yeah, I was really honored to be invited back into the family.
Is it a different feeling, obviously, when you're doing it from the books than doing it for the movies? Are you in a booth, or how does it work?
Yes. So, well, both the audiobooks and the animated voice work are both in a booth, although the booth for the book is really you at a desk with the book and a microphone, and that it's very small. But for the animation, you're basically in a sound, a sound room with an engineer behind the glass, and you've got your microphone. I always have a green apple and a cup of tea, because the green apple like kind of helps you get rid of some of that extra saliva in your mouth. Um, and then you're talking with the director, producers, and sometimes you'll read it back and forth with them, like a scene, like you would shoot a scene in a live action. But sometimes you're just running through the line over and over, trying to find a certain rhythm or a certain intonation of the words. So it's a very creative process, but just in a different way.
I asked Tony, obviously, when you're adapting something for the screen, you can't bring everything that's in the book. And then you think about, when people watch this, is it the same feeling they're going to get from reading the book, or is it something new and different we're going to get? Was it new and different for you this time around?
Well, it's definitely different, and so I guess yes, new. Although I think if you're a fan of the books, you certainly won't be disappointed. But it might be a little bit different. You know, it's hard to compare the mediums, because a book, it has so much more space to be so much more rich, and so you can just go so much further and so much deeper, and sometimes you just don't have the time frame to do that in a movie or a television series. But because this is a series and not a movie, you do have all of the episodes to really follow all of these really incredible characters on their journey, to finding each other, on their journey to finding family, on their journey to finding love, and survival, really. So it's a pretty magical piece, and I really enjoy being part of an art form like animation that can be for all people, especially family viewing. So that's what I think you've got here. You've got a classic fairy tale that is about coming of age, finding yourself, and finding your family.
Well said. Congrats on coming back. Obviously, for those who read the book, they're going to say it's the same voice. I'm in. For those who are new, they're just going to get a kick of watching it like I did.
Oh,
take care.
Great. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hey, Tony, how's it going?
Going well. How you doing?
Good. So this has been, I wouldn't say long in the making, but here we are.
You can say that.
So how exciting is it to finally see your work on screen?
It's pretty exciting. It's been a process. I've had the good fortune of seeing my books adapted in live action, but never in animation. And truth be told, animation is where my heart is. I love animated features from Pixar and Disney and Studio Ghibli. And so having the opportunity to work with some of the most talented people in this industry has been a really amazing process for me. Really, really awesome. I love it. As a storyteller to storytellers, amazing.
I never read the books, but when I saw what they did with the animation, this is a sight to see, and then you get involved with the story. you know, we've got more. Is this the first? So for anybody who's read the books, is this the first book? Are we getting the entirety of it, or is this being spread out?
Yeah, no, great question. Yes, this first season or first drop of episodes will be cover all of book one, and then the subsequent seasons will be the other two books. So the entire trilogy is being adapted.
Now, how much of a hand did you have in terms of the casting of the voices? You know, was Teri a no-brainer?
Teri was a no-brainer, and I'll tell you why, because 30 something years ago, I heard her do voice work on Coraline, where she played the creepy mom with the button eyes. And I was like, wow, her voice work is terrific. So I begged, borrowed, and groveled to try to get her to do the audiobooks 10, 15 years ago, and she graciously agreed. So I was ecstatic about that and sent the audiobooks to the Skydance team and said, man, can we have her involved in some way? She's so great. They were huge fans, and they had worked with Teri as well. And so, it was a real boon to be able to have her come. I mean, she's been part of the Wondla family from almost the beginning. So really meaningful to me to have her involved.
Now, are there any changes from the book to the screen? Because sometimes, not everything can be literally adapted,
That's right.
that people will get, from what they're seeing on screen. Obviously, those who read the books are like, oh, there's some things you just can't fit in, or it doesn't work.
That's right. There's always going to be changes. I mean, I think a little adaptation just it would be cost prohibitive, and would be 14 hours long. I think as the creator and the author, the most I can hope for is that the thematic moments and what the book is actually about remains intact, and that the characters are true to who they are. The spirit of the characters is true to the spirit of the adaptation. And it's amazing how much the team at Skydance really understood that and embraced that. It is alchemy, to change this book into celluloid. It doesn't transmute always perfectly, as we've seen in adaptations where we walk out of the theater or turn the TV off. We're like, well, that's not like the book. But I've been heavily involved for the past 4 years with the team. There's been there was a lot of mutual respect as storyteller to storyteller. And any changes that were made, it was a discussion. We talked about it. We talked it through. So I understood why they would have made changes. And that just doesn't happen usually, to be honest with you. It's usually like, okay, thanks, bye. Thanks for your book. We're gonna go make our thing now. So just unbelievably excited for everybody who worked on this.
Hey, it's a credit that you're involved. Obviously, as you mentioned, it doesn't always happen, but we're here. Obviously, for those who have not read the book, they're going to be excited to see where this goes. For those who have read the book, they're going to see how it was adapted. So congrats on getting this. Let's hope we get more of this and see where it can go. Let's see if we can adapt it without the books down the road, but let's get through season 1 first. So congrats.
Sounds good. I like that. That's a good plan.
Yes. Take care.
Take care.
Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hello, Bob. How's it going?
Good, Wilson. Nice to be here.
Good. As I watch this, I go, the creation of this is the selling point. There's a story, but then the way it looks, so how much was placed on the importance of the look as opposed to the story and the character and the voice actors?
Well, it's all important. I think look a picture, we definitely were aiming high in regards to trying to hit a feature quality level of look a picture. I think this, it used to be there was TV and there were features, and now there's this limited series, and we get to aim high and do something feature quality, but we're not limited to the feature length storytelling. You can have a longer story. You're not limited to 2 hours. So look a picture, and the quality of the picture was super important. That said, if you don't love the characters, fall in love with the characters, are willing to go on the journey with the characters, none of that matters, right? So we start in from an emotion driving our character and a character driving our story, and then we put them into a fantastic big world. So it's all important. So yeah, we were aiming high both in story and look a picture.
Because this is a series, did you take any liberties for those who have read the stories before? Or is this something that they're going to get, but now they're seeing it?
Yeah, well, Tony DiTerlizzi wrote the books, and he worked right alongside us. He's become like a good friend because he loved getting the toys out, that he had played with before and is playing with them again. So yeah, so we worked hard to sort of stick close to the story from the books, but made some revisions, sometimes in story or sometimes in character design. And Tony DiTerlizzi was right with us during all of that. So I think the people who have read the books will find the familiar characters and stories that they know from the books. Some of those things realized quite literally, and some of them sort of new versions of the same story points or characters.
What goes in picking out the actors for the characters?
The way we like to cast, well, first of all, when I started on this project, I had not read the books yet. And so Tony DiTerlizzi gave me the audiobooks. The audiobooks were read by Teri Hatcher. So in the case of Teri Hatcher playing Muthr, that was sort of a no-brainer because she had already read the books and was familiar with the story. And I've worked with Teri in the past, so that was a lot of fun. What we like to do when we cast our shows, it's so important to get the audience to believe that voice is emanating from that character. So one of the things we like to do is cast blindly. And that I mean, we put a drawing of the character up and we listen to voices, either auditions or clips from other projects. And we try to feel like what voice feels like it's coming out of that character. And then we kind of pull the curtain back and see who it is. Sometimes you recognize the voices, but we really try to make sure that the voice is helping to bring that character to life.
The thing I always told to everybody is that whether it's a film or a series, we have a glut of product nowadays because of the advent of streaming services. There's a lot. Every week there's like 15 new things. So it's a matter of the marketing of the project. What's going to get an audience to stick around and watching this weekly? Because like I said, you can get them on the first episode, but you got to tune them in to keep them coming back.
Right. Well, I have sort of a structure when I sort of lay the show out, in that you're asking the audience to go on a journey with a character. So you need to make sure that the audience connects on an emotional level, on primal emotional level with the character. Because if they don't do that, they're not going to want to continue with this character. So in the first episode, making sure the audience feels and connects with, in our case, Eva, and the primary relationship between Eva and the mother, that's relatable, that we can all relate to, sort of a parent-child relationship. We all either had kids or had parents. So I think it was a great way in. So that's what we focused on that first episode. And then as we grow the show, we introduce you to the characters that are going to go on the journey with. We expand the world. We start to deepen the relationships. So I think the idea for me is you're asking an audience really, yeah, come have fun, come explore this great world, come solve this mystery. But really what you're saying is come spend time and grow with this character. And so you have to get them connected to that character from page one.
You have a lot going here, but it's a great series. Congrats on this. Let's keep it going so that way. I always think, hey, listen, season 1 people don't know. When they know there's a season 2, there's a commitment there. So let's make that happen. Congrats again. We'll talk down the road.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks very much, Wilson.